Hey y'all! So I'm getting my lunch ready right now, and while that is warming, we're going to talk about today's video. So I'm going to share 10 things that I wish I would have known before getting into real estate. Real estate can be a kind of one of those jobs that seem really glamorous and you just open doors, you get to set your schedule. You can have a lot of false pretenses going into real estate. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great perks to real estate, but there are a lot, again, false pretenses that I'm gonna share with you today. In fact, 10 of them. So I'm gonna start off with 2. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You may know this, you may not. You're not clocking in at 8 a.m., clocking out at 5 p.m. and calling it a day. Real estate is very much a 7 days a week type job, 24/7. You may need to take calls late at night. You may need to be doing things early in the morning. You may be, working on the weekends. It's 24/7. And with that, when it comes to vacation, you truly may not really be off. Don't ever feel like I just fully have a day off. I'm usually thinking through something with a customer. What am I gonna post tomorrow? Did I do a mail out? There's different things that's always just going through my mind for my business. With it comes flexibility, which is one of the big reasons I got into real estate, was the flexibility. I had a 1-year-old and I was actually pregnant with Luke 10 years ago when I started real estate. And the flexibility is what really spoke to me. So with that, that's the beauty of real estate. You may be showing homes or meeting with customers or doing things, maybe doing a networking event on a Saturday or Sunday, but I also may be home all day on a Tuesday and maybe not much on my schedule that day. So it does balance out, it really does. With that, you need to be prepared, again, for more of that 24/7 mindset going into it. And with that, boundaries are important. Kind of leads me to my second thing I wish I would have known prior to, which is how important setting boundaries is and really working on kind of that work-life balance. Very important. And I think it's something that you kind of learn as you go. You kind of have to get started, learn what your flow is, figure out what works best for you, because different things are going to work for different people. Work-life balance truly matters. You have to set aside time, prioritize time to be sure you're doing self-care things, maybe taking on hobbies, doing things for you. Obviously, family time, going on the vacations, doing things like that. It's very important to prioritize that. And you may think, I don't have to prioritize that. That'll happen. It's very easy for your work to take over your schedule. So I think it's something just worth saying and kind of telling you. It's very easy. Yes, it is important that I write in that self-care item or whatever it may be that needs to be on the schedule that day to take some time for myself. Those are 2 things that we're going to start with. Again, it's not a 9-to-5, and work-life balance and kind of boundaries really matter. I'm going to get back to my lunch and we'll keep going in just a minute. Okay, so let's continue and get to the next 2 things that we're gonna talk about on the things that I wish I knew before getting into real estate. So I would say a really, really big one, the first few months are tough. And really not even the first few months, possibly your first year, even your first 3 years. A statistic is, and it's a very large number, the last time I checked, it was in the 75, 78%. It may even be in the 80s now. Many real estate agents don't make it past the 2-year mark. And I don't say that to scare you or be negative. It's just a statistic that I'm sharing and to just kind of help you really know, hey, I really need to hit the ground running, really build momentum in those first few months and in that first year, because what you do in that first year really matters. It takes time to kind of build your network. It takes time to really build rapport with people to kind of make sure they know, hey, Susie's in real estate, let's be sure we call her. It takes time to build that. Very important to be very focused in that first year. Listen to, the people that you are learning from, listen to what they say and maybe the things to do to really try to get that momentum going. Also advise, maybe have some reserves set aside. It could be a couple months, it could be a few months before you have a closing. It's very rare that you just walk into real estate and have a closing the first month. It took me 4 months actually to have my first closing, and that was 10 years ago. But it is something I would highly advise to have some reserves set aside, a little cushion set aside to be able to fall back on just as you get to going in those first few months. Then the 4th thing I'm going to talk about is continuing education. That is something that's very important in real estate. There are always things changing in real estate, like truly. Contracts are changing, laws are changing, market trends are changing. It's very important to stay up to date on all of that, just to be sure you are helping and guiding your customers to the best of your ability. And I truly, again, I've been in this for 10 years and there have been many changes during my 10 years. Very important to stay up to date. Every 2 years you have to do specific continuing education anyways to keep your license active, but there are things every few months that you could kind of read to be sure you're up to date on. So I would highly advise to be sure you are doing that if you were starting a real estate career. Okay, let's continue with 10 things that I wish I knew before getting into real estate. So I would say marketing. Oh my goodness, marketing is a huge aspect of real estate. Not something that I really knew and not something that I realized I would love doing so much. It's something that I really just kind of fell in love with. I truly enjoy doing it. Marketing is big on how you know, if you have a listing about, professional photography, are you going to do video? Video is something that's came a long way in my 10 years in real estate. Probably my first 3 to 4 years, never done it, never thought about doing it, but it's something that has grown. So kind of when I said before, keeping up with marketing trends. Anyways, how you market yourself, how you market properties is a huge part in real estate. And it's something that I would say, get ready to do, get comfortable on camera, have fun with it. It's so much fun. I truly love doing it. And then networking. So that is another big part, something again, I would have never really anticipated. Networking is a big part of real estate and honestly something that, just to be fully transparent, that I've struggled with. Not a person that's just out and about all the time. It's something that I've had to force myself kind of get out of my comfort zone, go to events. It's really just important to build relationships with people like inspectors, your lenders, other realtors. Networking is really big. Just being involved in the community, getting out, giving back, serving. Networking is definitely a big part. Hey, okay, so let's move on to 2 more things that I wish I would have known before getting into real estate. So wearing many hats. As a realtor, you wear many different hats depending on what you're doing in that moment, that day, who you're dealing with that day. You're a negotiator, you are opening doors, but that's not all you're doing. You're not just selling homes and you're not just opening doors. You are negotiating. Some days you may feel like you're becoming a customer service expert. Some days you have to do your marketing. So now you have to learn how to use all of those cool tools on how to create flyers and stuff like that. You may feel like you're a therapist to your customers. It really just depends. Again, are you at a networking event or are you dealing with customers? Are you talking with a lender or a title agent? Depending on what you're doing in your business that day, you may have to put on this hat and then another, but it keeps it kind of all interesting and that's what keeps it fun. Be prepared to kind of be different things for different people and in different parts of the transactions. And then organization. Here I am 10 years later, still working on it. Be ready to really try to be organized. Sheets can become your best friend. I'm a person that like to have lists, so sometimes I will just have pen and paper, but I do have things on my computer. You want to organize email, you want everyone that you work with and pretty Excel sheets or some kind of program to be able to go to that. Being organized is very important just because, especially as you grow and work with more people, it's very important to keep all of that nice and organized and have a place that you can go to, again, to go back to those people. So definitely, if you are naturally already organized, that is a great thing to be good at getting into real estate. And if you are not, I would highly suggest getting on Pinterest or Googling different things that can help you become organized. All right, so we have come to the last 2 things on my list of 10 things I wish I would have known before getting into real estate. So one is, this is not selling sunset. Real estate is not what you see on HGTV. Truly, it is not all glamorous and pretty. I kind of mentioned that at the beginning. There are some great high points and perks, obviously, to the job. Be prepared for hard days, tough days, really crazy things that can happen in inspections. There are some buyers that sometimes take 30 homes to see before they find the one. Negotiations sometimes can get tough. Just, again, it's just not always, sunshine and rainbows. That's what, obviously we sometimes put out on social media. We show the highlight reel, but just remember, things behind the scenes is not always like that. And sometimes when you're in rural North Florida, like I am, you may get stuck going to properties. There's just all kind of things that can happen. So just remember, behind the scenes work is not always glamorous. There's a lot of hard work that goes into real estate. There's a lot of hard work that goes into getting customers to the closing table, whether that's on the buying side or the selling side. Just remember that. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is your sphere of influence. We call that your SOI. Your sphere of influence really, really matters in real estate. Who do you know? Who do you think is going to support you? Also hard sometimes to find that right balance of sharing with people. Hey, I'm a realtor. I would love to help you, but you don't want to be too pushy. You don't want to be too salesy. So you kind of have to find that, good middle ground. But really start thinking about the people that you think are going to be people that want to support you, be happy for you, and send people your way. Start nurturing those relationships. Just anybody. Sometimes it can be really random people like your hairdresser, just the people that I know support my business, that want to send me business, past customers. So just go ahead and be thinking about those people that you can be sure you are in front of. Again, nurture those relationships to hopefully help your business and gain momentum and grow. So that wraps up my 10 things. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are considering getting into real estate, I would love to talk or answer any questions you may have. I'll see you next time that I'm going to talk about 10 things that I love about being a realtor.